Hey there friends! Welcome back to my channel, Mystic Magic. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at what your power is, what blockages are around your power, and how to step into your power. So I have 3 piles prepared for you today. Here we have pile 1 with the Tiger's Eye Crystal and the El Dios de los Tres Tarot. In pile number 2, we have the Citrine Pyramid and the Luminous Spirit Tarot deck. And in pile number 3, we have the Ocean Jasper and the Ancient Italian Tarot. So feel free to pause the video if you need some more time figuring out which pile you're the most drawn towards. And then once you've decided, you can scroll down to the description box or the pinned comments and skip ahead to your reading. A couple of quick disclaimers before we start. Tarot is just a tool that reads the current energy, and energy is always changing. So if you hear something you don't like, know that you have free will and the power to create change. Keep in mind this is a general reading, so take the messages that resonate and leave the rest behind. Don't try to force all of the messages to fit for you and your life. There could simply be messages here that are meant for other people watching that just aren't meant for you. So with all that being said, we are going to go ahead and jump right into it, starting with pile number 1. Hey there, pile 1. If you chose the Tiger's Eye Crystal, this is going to be your reading all about what your power is, what the blockages are around your power, and how to step into it. So I'm going to put the tarot off to the side for now. We're going to use this in a little bit. And first we're going to take a look at the oracle cards that I've prepared. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out all the oracle cards, and then first we're going to talk about what your power is, and then we'll talk about the blockages, and then we'll be using the tarot to get into how you can really step into your power. So starting off with what your power is, we have Merkaba number 32. The frequency of Merkaba supports our ability to use our consciousness to traverse into other layers of reality and dimensions. It activates our access to our Akashic inheritance as well, merging the totality of our experiences into our present to serve our highest purpose. We have Quest with the throat chakra. We have Cobra with the fire element. Success. And we have Happy with number 26. Okay, and now looking at what the blockage is around your power, we have Integration number 30. The frequency of integration supports our embrace of every aspect of ourselves, allowing what we perceive as positive and what we perceive as negative to harmonize in a balanced symphony of life. We have Enlightenment with the solar plexus chakra. We have the Swan with the water element. Delight. And we have Co-Create number 40. Okay, so pile 1. Your energy is really interesting. So taking a look at your power here, these cards on this side, it's interesting because with the Cobra, Quest, and Success, this is giving me very much sage type energy. Like, these figures all look, pretty intimidating, like really intense. They seem really wise, really knowledgeable, and it's like they're just looking straight through you into your soul. And again, especially with the Merkaba here, this is like a really powerful spiritual type energy. So you could be aware that you have these strong spiritual gifts. I wouldn't be surprised if you did. And maybe you like to like astral project or, you know, like tap into the Akashic record and things like that. But what I find interesting is also having this happy card, because this is really making me think of the inner child and being really connected to the inner child. Like you just have such a strong light to you. Like you have a really powerful presence, and you seem to have like a very good balance, which is also what the Merkaba talks about, between, it's like tapping into your inner child, but also tapping into your higher self, or tapping into like your connection with your guides, tapping into angelic realms, tapping into higher dimensions, and pulling wisdom and information from those sources too. I would say that you're definitely a teacher of some kind, and this doesn't have to be teacher in the traditional sense of like teaching at a school, although it very well could be. But I think that you act as a mentor or like a role model to a lot of people in some ways, or you have so much wisdom that you don't even realize that like you're teaching people so many important things. Because with the throat chakra here and with all of the blue color here in the Merkaba, your voice is definitely important. And I don't think you're afraid to share your thoughts, to tell people what it is that they need to hear. But also you're wise enough to know, like there's a time and a place to offer advice or to say things. And I feel like you have the wisdom of knowing when it's beneficial for you to speak, and also when you need to just kind of pull back and just listen. Because I'm getting a lot of stillness with these 3 cards here. So it's like while you have all this wisdom and you have so much to say and to share, at the same time, it's not like you're going around just like constantly, you know, like sharing all this information or like projecting all this information onto people, being like, you need to do this, you need to do that. Like, that's not the energy that I'm getting. It's like I don't know. It's like you can just like walk into a room or something and you just like, you see the situation for what it really is. And like, you see through all the like facades of people, and like, you can just see their energy. You read people really well. Yeah, you're mature in that sense of like, you speak when it's important for you to speak. And people are really attracted to you because of this energy that you have. I think you're definitely a healer, and people are really attracted to this like strong light that you have, this strong aura that you have. Another one of your powers, I would say, is that you find success in whatever you put your mind to. So whatever goal you have, whatever project you're working on, no matter how big or small it is, you find a way to see it through to the end. And not only that, but the end result is always really successful. And people are just kind of like, you know, in awe that things always just seem to work out for you. And it's not in the sense of like you're just a really lucky person and things kind of fall into your lap. It's like you put in the work and like you're not afraid to like, you know, get your hands dirty and get things done. And it's like you would really enjoy that process too. Like you enjoy working hard, challenges don't frighten you. And because of that, you always seem to find success. I think you're also a really strong manifester because of this happy energy. It's like when you're feeling good, you attract more good towards you. It's like, it's very infectious, right? We attract what we are. And with your strong light, this powerful energy that you have, these manifestation skills also play a role in the level of success that you have. Because it's like, you don't have any doubts that you can't do something. And that's tends to be like one of the trickiest things when it comes to manifesting, is wholeheartedly believing in yourself that you can do it and that you can have it. Yeah, and like with this happy card, this light that's just kind of beaming up, it's really making me feel like you have a really strong connection to your guides or to other dimensions. It's like it literally is just kind of like an antenna. And you're also incredibly patient with the Cobra here and this Black Panther and the Success card. You're very patient and you don't rush things. Even when you want something really bad, even when you're manifesting, it's like you have this wisdom and this patience of like, everything will come in due time. And just because it's not happening yet doesn't mean that it's not going to happen at all. And you just focus on what makes you happy, and you focus on, you know, like other areas of your life until this manifestation comes in. Like you don't fixate yourself on it and kind of like obsess over it and being like, where is it? Why isn't it coming in? You put your energy out there and you're like, okay, like this is the thing that I want to manifest. I'm going to start taking action towards it. And you do those things and you kind of carry on with your life and you surrender to it and you just let it be, because you know it's going to come to you and that you don't have to like fixate on it so much. Yeah, that's interesting. Even in the Cobra card, all of these lines are kind of like triangles pointing upwards. You have a really strong crown chakra. You're very much connected. And I think you, like a lot of your wisdom, yes, it comes from life experiences and like lessons that you've learned in your past lives, because you're definitely an old soul and you've had a lot of reincarnations. But I think you also act as a channel, and you'll channel directly from spirit sometimes in the advice or the things that you say to people. And I think that leaves them shocked. Like sometimes they won't even say anything to you really. Like you'll just be like, I don't know, like talking about the weather or just like talking about something else. And then it's like you'll just say something to them and it's exactly the kind of advice or like information or message that they need to hear. And they're just like, holy crap, like how did they even know? Like I didn't even say anything. You have that kind of energy about you. So in terms of your blockages, or the blockage that's surrounding your power that you have here, it's really interesting because your perception is really important here. I'll read this again. It says, the frequency of integration supports our embrace of every aspect of ourselves, allowing what we perceive as positive and what we perceive as negative to harmonize in a balanced symphony of life. So I'm kind of getting the feeling that you might be a bit of a perfectionist, that you really, you know, like just want things to work out perfectly. When you have a certain vision of what you want, you might have a hard time kind of deviating from that and not allowing the universe to really deliver it in the best way possible. Because it's interesting, like, okay, I just want to point out this Swan card. There's a lot of mirroring here. And I'm even seeing, it's like your power is your blockage. And I know that that kind of doesn't really make sense, but like, let me explain. We have co-create here. And we just finished talking about how you're a really strong manifester. You have, you're really connected to source. You know, you have a very strong crown chakra, but maybe you don't realize that, or like maybe you doubt how connected you are. Because I kind of, looking at these blockage cards, it's like for co-create to be a blockage, it's like you try to do everything on your own and you don't have to. So you've probably been in situations in the past where like you didn't have anybody that you could rely on. And so you like really had to do everything on your own. And that could still be something that's affecting you now. And so if you have blockages around manifesting sometimes, take a step back and ask yourself if you're forcing it. You know, like, are you trying to do everything by yourself, or are you collaborating with the universe? And again, in terms of mirroring, we have delight here, which is similar to this happy card, but it's a blockage. So okay, what I'm getting with delight and integration and the swan card here is, I think you're highly empathic, and I think because you're so empathic, you easily pick up on other people's energies, and you take other people's energies on, or you take other people's emotions on. And if you're picking up on other people's like bad moods or like lower vibrations and things like that, and you take that on and you believe that it's your energy, it's your emotions, I think that creates some resistance and blockages towards your manifestations. Because like, okay, say you're feeling really good about what you're, you know, something that you're trying to manifest, but then you hang around some people and, you know, say they're in a really irritable mood and they're just kind of like feeling a bit negative and like complaining about things, whatever. And then you leave that experience also feeling negative, also feeling irritated. And then that kind of bleeding into, you know, starting to doubt, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't even bother trying to manifest this, or like, there's probably no point, like, it's not gonna happen anyways. But then after having some time alone and being able to recuperate, you kind of shed that energy, you come back into yourself, this happy state, right? This lighter state. And then you're like, no, I could totally do it. Like, I'm totally capable of making that happen. So it's kind of like, I don't know, like I'm just kind of feeling like you might have a lot of ups and downs with your energy, and it's because you're really empathic. So there's a strong message coming through of protecting your energy and setting some boundaries, and to just make sure that you're not picking up what's not yours, right? Because it can really interfere with the manifestation process. Yeah, because before I said that, you know, like you don't really have a lot of doubt. And I think that is your natural state. But when I'm thinking of this enlightenment card and integration, I think sometimes you might let fear get in the way, or perceiving things as negative when maybe it's not really negative. Or maybe just struggling with your confidence at times, like putting pressure on yourself to make sure that you're always successful because that's what people expect of you, is also something that's coming up here. And another blockage could be, could have to do with like your shadow, which isn't, the shadow's not a bad thing, okay? Everyone has light aspects and shadow aspects, and the shadow is just things that we kind of, what's the word? Parts of ourselves that we shut down and hide away because we perceive them to be not good, or we've been taught or learned or experienced somehow that those parts of ourselves are not good. So we hide them away. Because this integration talks about embracing every aspect of ourselves. So perhaps like if you've not done any shadow work, or even if you have, I feel like there's a strong call here to tap into that a little bit and ask yourself, you know, like, what parts of yourself are you hiding away? Is there anything that maybe you've learned in childhood, for example, you know, where people told you that like, oh, you're too this, or you're not this enough. Those types of wounds can carry forward if we don't address them, right? And shadow work's not easy. It takes a lot of bravery and strength to do that. So it's nothing to feel bad about. It's just something to be aware of, that there could have been experiences in your past or wounds that you didn't realize that are still affecting you, that are creating blockages around stepping into your true power. Because I really feel like at your core, you're a very like stable and strong kind of person, and you have these really strong manifestation skills. But I think perhaps some old wounds and also picking up on other people's energy really interferes with your energy and your power. Because I think you have this underlying feeling of like, you just know that everything is gonna be fine. You know that things are gonna work out. And so I'm being called to tell you to embrace that trust and not to let other people's projections of what they think can go wrong affect you. You know, because people, like when we say like, oh, I'm gonna start doing this, or like, I'm gonna do this project, or whatever the case is, people will project their own fears and their insecurities and what they think is possible for them onto you. Even if they say like, oh, I don't think you would be good at that. It's not really them thinking you wouldn't be good at that. It's them thinking if they were in that situation trying to do the thing that you're doing, that they wouldn't be good at it. You know what I mean? And so you don't have to accept these things. Like, you don't have to take on that energy when people say things like that. Like, I'm literally just picturing, you know, it's kind of like this egg shape in the Happy Happy card in Co-Create. It's like, I'm literally just picturing this kind of like energy field around you, and people saying things, or people like, you know, directing their energy at you, and it's literally just like bouncing off. And you're just like, okay, cool, like I'm gonna do the thing anyways. You know what I mean? Another blockage that's coming through is that you might doubt some of the messages or signs that you receive, because like we've talked about, like you're super connected, your crown chakra is like popping. And I think that sometimes you'll receive signs for things, or like a confirmation on something, but you either don't recognize it, or you'll doubt that you'll just doubt the message that you're receiving. Or if it's not, you know, like the answer that you wanted, you'll just kind of like pretend you didn't see it. So they're wanting me to tell you to stop doubting yourself, because you're really talented, and that usually what you think is right. Yeah, again, I just realized, so we have a small child in the Enlightenment card, and there's a child here in Quest. So yeah, wow, I just realized how similar these cards are. There's so much mirroring. It's like, yeah, it's kind of like what I said before. It's like your power is your blockage, depending on what your mindset is. That's the main thing. So let's grab the tarot and let's find out how you can step into your power. Yeah, and like you picked the Tiger's Eye crystal, and the Tiger's Eye is all about confidence. It's about protection. It's related to the solar plexus chakra, like this Enlightenment card. And this is where we take action from. This is where our sense of empowerment comes from, our sense of identity. So I think you're maybe peeling away some layers of like teachings that were forced upon you as a child, and like unlearning things that don't belong to you. That's something that's coming through. Okay, spirit guides, please, for pile 1, how can they step into their power? How can pile 1 step into their power? How can pile 1 step into their power? Okay. So we have the Nine of Pentacles. How can Pile 1 step into their power? So I just heard know your worth. Recognize your worth. Recognize what you deserve. Okay, we also have strength. So you could be a Leo or have strong Leo placements, but you don't have to. Okay, we also have the Four of Wands. How can Pile 1 step into their power? How can Pile 1 step into their power? Okay, so we also have the King of Wands. And let's get one more card. How can Pile 1 step into their power? Woo! Whoa, you did not see that, but this card literally just like flipped over my shoulder. Do you want this to be reversed or upright, please? Okay, that one's sideways. Reversed or upright? Okay, I'm gonna leave it upright, but I'm gonna keep in mind that it was kind of going in all directions. And then the back of the deck is the Ace of Wands. Okay, so yeah, like I was saying here with the Nine of Pentacles, like clear as day, the first message was to know your worth and recognize what you deserve. I'm also getting, so okay, with the Nine of Pentacles and the King of Wands, it's like to really step into your own power, right? Because you're the freaking King of Wands, okay? Like the King of Wands is really ambitious. He's a visionary, okay? Like he knows what he wants, okay? And he knows how to make that happen. He knows how to orchestrate it to make it happen. And so there's a really strong calling for you to step back into your power and to take control, because you are in control, right? Obviously, we can't control everything, but we can control our energy. We can control our perception. We can control the actions that we take. There's a lot that we can control. And by coming back to the self and tuning in and changing our energy, changing our perception, we can change our outside environment, right? Because like I had said earlier, we attract what we are. So if we're in this high vibe, happy state, and that's the energy that we're putting out, and we're taking actions that fall in line with things that make us happy, then things that make us happy are going to come into our life. But if we're taking on other people's negative energies, or we're constantly in a low vibe state, then more of those things are going to be attracted to us, right? And of course, energy is always changing. It's always fluctuating. You know, our emotions are always changing, and sometimes shitty things happen. And I totally get that. You know, this is not to say, oh, you just need to be happy all the time. That's not it at all. It's about absolutely feeling whatever emotions come up and dealing with the situation at hand in the best way that you can. But it's about, after we do that, coming back to that baseline of being in a higher vibe state, right? Rather than our baseline still being in that, more lower vibration. But I'm also getting a strong message with the Four of Wands and the Ten of Pentacles to consider or reconsider like the kind of people that you hang around or the environment that you're in. And to maybe find a community that's maybe more supportive, or a community that's more in line with your energy, or more in line with like where you're trying to go. Like, are you surrounded by people who don't feel motivated about pursuing their dreams or setting goals for themselves? Or are you surrounding yourself with people who have a big vision for their life and like feel really excited about chasing their dreams, who motivate their friends and people in the community, and like everyone uplifts each other? Because you have two owls here. There's an owl in the Four of Wands, and there's an owl here in Co-Create. Like, you have so much wisdom, okay? Like, you're really intelligent. And don't lose sight of that. Like, you know more than you think you do. And I think this is just coming down to a matter of confidence and like calling your power back and really getting back in touch with who you are. Because with the Strength card here, I love this card in this deck in particular because the Strength card is so fierce. Like, in the traditional imagery, you know, there's like a woman who's very calmly kind of like not taming a lion, but, you know, managing it, let's say. And, you know, the Strength card does talk about having compassion and not using brute force to deal with the situation. But it's like, what I'm getting here is to kind of step into that feisty side, you know? And again, so Leo rules the 5th house, which is all about fun and creativity, and it talks about children as well. So to really step into your power, reconnect with things that bring you joy. What is it that you love to do as a child, right? And when was the last time you did that? How can you incorporate those things into your life more frequently? Because doing things that we find fun and taking time to have fun really elevates our vibration, right? It brings us into a happier state, and it makes it easier for us to attract the things that we do want. And if you feel like you've lost your spark, you've never lost your spark, okay? That flame is always within you. Oh, what's that? There's a quote that goes something like a single spark can like burn the forest down or something like that. I don't know why that's coming to mind, but it's like, even if you feel like your light has been dimmed, or like you're not feeling inspired, or you're not feeling motivated, like your spark is still there. You just need to peel back the layers of what's been trying to smother that. Because there's so much fiery energy here. Like, tuning into it, like, it's just making me feel really revved up. Like, I feel like I could go like for a run right now. Like, I feel like you have, yeah, and we even have the fire element here. So to also not only do more of what makes you happy, but do what you're passionate about. You know, like, what makes you inspired? How can you bring that inspiration into your life? Or maybe you need to do something different, do something new, go somewhere new, experience something new. If you've been feeling like unmotivated or uninspired in any way, like, try something different. Take a different route to work. Go for a walk somewhere new. Instead of going to your usual coffee spot, try a different place. Go to that new restaurant that opened up instead of, you know, your favorite spot that you always go to Friday night. Just by doing something different, it switches up our energy. Also, I feel called to say in this Strength card, it's like, it's literally just like trampling the ghosts of its past. Like, this isn't gonna hold me back anymore. I know who I am, right? Because Leo is ruled by the sun, and the sun is all about our personal identity. It's who we are, right? It's the light that we shine out into the world. And you have a really bright light, right? So it's time to switch up your perception so that you really see yourself for who you are, not what other people have told you you are. because no one gets to tell you who you are. You tell them who you are. And this is really going to help you to step into your power. So that's everything that I'm seeing for you, pile 1. Let me know in the comments how this resonated for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed watching this, and also be sure to hit the post notification bell so you never miss out on when I upload a video. I love you so, so much. Thank you for letting me read for you today, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Hey there, pile 2. If you chose the Citrine pyramid, this is going to be your reading all about what your power is, what blockages are around your power, and how to step into your power. So for now, I'm going to put the tarot off to the side. We'll look at this in a little bit. And I'm going to lay out all of the oracle cards first. So starting off with what your power is, we have communication, number 14. The frequency of communication supports our ability to exchange information in many different forms. It reminds us to run every piece of information, both incoming and outgoing, through our heart, the center of our truth, to stay in the flow of source and balanced exchange. Okay. We have impartiality with the crown chakra. We have the horse with the earth element. Stillness. And serendipity, number 18. Okay, and for your blockage, what's blocking your power? We have consciousness, number 17. The frequency of consciousness supports our ability to focus our attention on all the multidimensional aspects that show up so that we can include them in our reality. We have perception with the heart chakra. We have the fox with the earth element. Trust. And we have truth be told, number 14. Okay. So the first thing that I want to say about what your power is that you're a very fair person. Like, I feel like you guys would be really good mediators, judges, like anything to do with the legal system or any kind of figure of authority. Because with impartiality and communication, it's just making me think that, like, yeah, you're very fair and balanced in communicating with people. Also, I'm hearing diplomat, so that could be relevant for someone. But it's like you're very unbiased. You really hear people out and you listen to what they have to say. And like it's like a very calm, like you have a very calm way of communicating with people. Also with the crown chakra, and there's this like crescent moon on the horse here. Definitely you have a strong third eye and crown chakra. And I think that you tap into this wisdom and tap into your gifts and into source to really help foster communication and express what it is that needs to be said. And what I find really interesting is that like the horse is kind of opposite to this stillness card, because the horse talks about freedom, talks about momentum, it talks about overcoming challenges, and stillness talks about pausing and, you know, like not taking any action, to really come back to the self and to find stillness and tune into yourself. So you have this balance of knowing when it is that you need to move forward and when it is that you really just need to pause. But I think that you receive a lot of communication from your guides and from the universe when you're in this sense of stillness. And they really show you a lot of like signs and synchronicities. And speaking of synchronicities, we have 2 number 14s here with truth be told and communication. And it's making me think of the Temperance card in tarot, which is actually kind of funny because the imagery is a little bit similar to this impartiality card. In the Temperance card, we see water flowing between 2 cups, and it talks about balance. It talks about moderation and patience. Yeah, like you're very good at moderating and mediating situations. You might find yourself kind of like stuck in the middle a lot, or not necessarily stuck in the middle, but like if 2 people or a group of people are like having a disagreement or having a debate about something, or like there's some kind of conflict going on, I feel like people come to you a lot because you're very good at making sure everyone has had the opportunity to express themselves and to say what they need to say. And you can kind of like recycle the information and relay it in a different way to make everyone understand, is also something that's coming through. But there's a lot of blues and greens here. And so one of like part of your power is not only like speaking your truth and having really strong communication skills, but also speaking from the heart and speaking with compassion, because the blue and the green colors are related to the heart chakra and the throat chakra. So really, okay, so all of your upper chakras are really being focused on here. And it's like when you take that time to find stillness and tune into yourself, and you listen to the signs and the synchronicities that are coming in, it's like then you know where you need to go. Or even if you don't know where you're going, you follow your intuition and you let your intuition guide you. And it always ends up bringing you to some like really serendipitous, like lucky, coincidental type situation. And people are like, how does it always just work out for you? This is kind of a similar vibe to pile 1, but it's coming at in a different way. So if you're attracted to pile 1 at all, I would go and have a look at it after you've watched this video, because there might be some messages in there for you too. Okay, I just heard some people think that you have a lucky horseshoe shoved up your, you know what? That's hilarious. But I think it's just because like you're so in tuned and you really trust your intuition and trust where your intuition is leading you. And because of that, it's like, of course you always end up in these really favorable like prosperous situations, because our intuition never leads us wrong, right? So the blockages here are interesting because like we've talked about, you're heavily connected, okay? And we also have the consciousness card here. But I think you have a hard time trusting in the signs that you're getting. Okay, this is really a lot like pile 1 now that I'm getting more into this. If you weren't drawn to it, don't worry. But if you were kind of torn between pile 1 and 2, go take a look after you've watched this pile. But it's almost like you're like avoiding something is what I'm getting with the fox here, because the fox can be really cunning and, sly. And with perception here, it's like, I'm almost kind of like, the word suspicious is coming to mind. Like, you might be suspicious of the different synchronicities that you're getting, or not trusting the information that's being downloaded to you. Maybe thinking like, oh, I'm just making this all up, or like, this is all in my head, this isn't real. But we have the owl here. You have a lot of wisdom and you're very intelligent. And it's interesting because in this truth be told card, this like window is kind of right where the heart chakra would be. And it's making me think that like you have such a big heart, such a pure heart, and you have such a deep love and such deep emotions. And maybe sometimes you let your emotions or your feelings like cloud over or make you feel confused about messages that are coming in. And so if that's the case, and that's something that does happen, the advice is to find stillness, right? Because in this trust card, like these waters are very calm and stable. There's this quote that goes like, you can't see your reflection in boiling water, in that, you know, you can't see the solution clearly when you're angry or when you're in a really highly charged emotional state. So if you're like in your feels about something, or you're feeling confused, or feeling suspicious, feeling paranoid maybe, to really ground yourself, come back into stillness. And once things are more stable, to trust the messages that you're receiving. Yeah, it's like, what are you avoiding? What are you denying? What are you lying to yourself about? And I'm also hearing that like things aren't what they seem. Right? Because when we're in a state of fear, it really clouds our perception on things, right? Like we don't see things for what they are. We're seeing it through the lens of fear. And fear is like the lowest vibration, or one of the lowest vibrations. So that could be something that you're struggling with. And being called to tell you that you might want to work on your root chakra. Which makes sense because we were talking about grounding. Yeah, like with this citrine pyramid, so I'm not even really being called to talk about the citrine itself, but I'm really called to the shape of this. So it has a square base, and this is making me think of a lot of things. So the square shape has to do with like the physical form or physical reality. It's also making me think of having a strong foundation. And again, like there's 4 corners, so that's taking me to the 4th house, which again talks about like our roots and our foundations. But it also has all of these triangles, right, leading up to this point. So it's like you're very much connected, like your crown chakra, your third eye, they're very strong. But I think you need to work on having like a more solid foundation so that you can receive these messages with clarity and not feel scared, not feel paranoid or anything like that. Because it comes down to your perception is what the main blockage is here. Like having the confidence to discern what the messages are. Having the wisdom and the clarity and the discernment to know what to say. Yeah, and there's another crescent moon here in the trust card. And I'm being told to tell you, if you feel confused about whether something is your intuition or fear, fear screams. Fear is very loud. Intuition whispers. It's very quiet. And you really need to be in a sense of stillness to hear it properly. And again, it's taking me back to that quote that I had mentioned that was like, you can't see your reflection in boiling water, right? So it's like, you won't really be able to hear your intuition if you're giving into your fear, right? And they're reminding me again to tell you to really work on your root chakra. So find ways to ground yourself, whether this is like exercising, spending time in nature. You might enjoy like taking salt baths or working with crystals related to the root chakra. Like I have some black tourmaline here. This is good for the root chakra. I also have black moonstone here. You could use obsidian, red jasper, smoky quartz, crystals like that can help ground you as well. Or even eating foods that are linked to the root chakra. So things that are just like grown in the earth, right? Like potatoes or beets, or, you know, those like really hardy earthy vegetables, parsnips, things like that. Oh, it's interesting. So there was an owl and a swan in pile 1 as well. But so, okay, in the perception card, there's these 2 butterflies here. And butterflies represent change and transformation. And it's making me think that like your perception changes a lot. Because it's like, I feel like it's like sometimes fear takes over. But then you kind of bring yourself back, and then you're like, you tune into your intuition and you're like, yeah, okay. But then you start to have doubts and you lose trust, and then your perception changes again. There's kind of like this going back and forth, and like it's really creating blockages for you. So if you've been having trouble like communicating with people lately, or having a hard time listening, or just paying attention to the signs in general, I think this could be contributing to that, of just like fully not having trust that, you know, that you're safe, that you're protected, that the signs and information that you're receiving is right, things like that. So not only do I think that you have like a really big heart and you feel things quite deeply, but I also think that you may tend to overthink and get stuck in your head a lot, and kind of get this like analysis paralysis, which contributes to, you know, like feeling suspicious, or like not knowing what information is for you, feeling like paranoid about stuff, which is why that I keep being taken back to like working on the root chakra, grounding yourself, coming back into stillness and trusting. Okay, I want to find out, using the tarot, how you can step into your power. Let's find out together. Okay. Spirit guides, please, for pile number 2, how can pile number 2 step into their power? How can pile number 2 step into their power? Something else that I'm getting is I'm hearing that you're really, really creative, and part of your creativity comes from your ability to tap into your intuition and tap into divine inspiration. And that sometimes like you may doubt whether or not your ideas or your projects or whatever art you're working on isn't good enough, or like the idea is like too out there or too wacky. But it's like that idea came to you for a reason, right? And trust that you're good enough. Know that you're good enough, right? Don't let the fear take over. Don't let your racing mind, don't let this overthinking pull you away from the truth that you're really powerful and you have so many different gifts and talents, and what you are talented at, like you're really talented, you're really good at it. And like there's no comparing you. Everybody's unique. Right? And that's one of your gifts too. Like nobody will ever be like you. So it's important that you share whatever it is that you want to share, whether it's art or if you have an important message to say, to raise awareness about something. Okay. How can pile 2 step into their power? How can pile number 2 step into their power? Pile number 2. Ooh, okay. So we have the Empress. We have the Ace of Wands. Yeah. Okay, let's see what else, please. How can pile number 2 step into their power, please? How can pile number 2 step into their power? We have the King of Wands. What else, please? How can pile number 2 step into their power? It's too many. How can pile number 2 step into their power? How can pile number 2 step into their power? Okay, so I'm going to take this top card, which is the 6 of Pentacles. And we also have the Knight of Pentacles. And the bottom of the deck, we have the 4 of Swords. Okay, so I'd like to point out that in pile 1, the Ace of Wands and the King of Wands came out as well. But really the first message that I'm getting is to really nurture your creativity and nurture your creative spark. Because the Empress is extremely creative, is really abundant and fertile, and like she's typically represented as pregnant. So it's like, what is it that you've been wanting to create? What is it that you've been wanting to put out there? What is it that you've been wanting to say? It's like you're being passed the torch and it's your time to shine. And you'll really find that by nurturing this project or whatever this goal is, by working on it, is going to allow you to step into your power. Because I think you have a really big vision and you can go so far. Like, you have a lot of potential, right? It's just a matter of trusting that, believing that, trusting the signs that you're getting. To make sure that you're giving to yourself first, right? Because earlier I was saying that I feel like you kind of get pulled into the middle a lot, or like a lot of people will come to you to like help solve their conflicts, help solve their problems. It's like, bring the attention back to you, right? Your energy is for you first and foremost. And make sure that you're giving to yourself more than what you're giving to others. Because it's clear that you have a really big heart and there's nothing wrong with helping people. It's really amazing to be so caring and compassionate and wanting to help. There's nothing wrong with that. But the message is to make sure that you're giving to yourself too, that you're nurturing yourself, taking care of yourself, right? Being true to yourself, to really make sure that you're taking the time to rest, right? To find that stillness. Like, I just keep hearing rest and rejuvenation, rest and rejuvenation. It's like you're this pearl, this gem inside of this oyster, right? But it's like it's like you're closed right now. And by slowly moving forward and putting energy into yourself, nurturing yourself, taking care of yourself, the shell is slowly going to open, and it's like you're going to shine through. I'm hearing that Elvis Presley song, I Can't Help But Falling in Love with You. The line that goes, wise men say only fools rush in. And so, like with the Knight of Pentacles here, it's okay to take your time. It's okay to take things slowly. There's no need to rush. Because with the horse here, you know, we were talking about like momentum and freedom and things like that. So maybe you sometimes like get really excited about things and like move really quickly. And you know, like there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just to just be aware of the fact that it's okay to slow down sometimes, right? And to take your time with things. What's meant for you is always meant for you and will never pass you by, right? Like what's truly yours, you can never lose. So don't feel like that you need to rush to get somewhere because you feel like if you don't hurry up, that thing is going to go away. If it's truly meant for you, it is yours and you will have it. I'm also hearing, well, I just saw 33:33 on the clock, so that could be relevant. Oh, what was the thought that I had? Yeah, like you have such a vision. Like there's something that you really want, something that you really want to achieve. And it's like, be sure that you're watering those seeds and that you're nurturing yourself in the process too. That's the main message that I'm really getting. And that if you're feeling like overwhelmed or, you know, fearful, paranoid, things like that, that it's a sign that you need to slow down and rest and to take it easy on yourself. Okay, it's okay to take a day or two off or however much time that you need to recuperate, but to just really slow down and take care of yourself. Like even the energy that I'm tapping into, like I feel like I'm talking like more quietly in a more soothing voice. I'm speaking more slowly. I'm feeling really zen, to be honest. And I think that's the kind of energy that like your guides are really wanting you to tap into. Right? To come back to stillness, come back to center. Because in stillness is where we find clarity. Right? To rebalance your energy. Rebalancing your energy will help you to step into your power. Also that, I don't know if it's a proverb or just like a quote, but that Confucius quote that goes, it doesn't matter how slow you go, so long as you don't stop. And that's what I'm getting with the Knight of Pentacles. Like, don't compare your path to other people's path. If they're already, you know, achieving things that maybe you want to achieve, or even if they're just achieving other things, to not compare yourself, because everyone is on their own journey, everyone is on their own path, and just because they've achieved something doesn't mean that you're behind. It doesn't mean that it's too late for you. Focus on your vision and nurturing and feeding your vision with love and compassion, and giving that to yourself as well, right? Because it's all coming back to your perception on things. Yeah, and also balancing your masculine and feminine energy, which is kind of like what we were talking about at the beginning, how I was saying like the horse and the stillness card were kind of like opposite energies. The stillness is very much the Empress energy, and this King of Wands is making me think of the horse. So it's like, know when it's time to take action and to move forward, and know when it's time to pull the reins back and pause and be open to receiving, right? Open to receiving communications and messages or inspirations, different ideas, things that will help you along your path. But that's everything that I'm seeing for you, pile 2. Let me know in the comments how this resonated for you. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed watching this video, and be sure to hit the post notification bell so you never miss out on when I upload a video. Thank you so much for letting me read for you today. I love you so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Hey there, pile 3. If you chose the Ocean Jasper, this is going to be a reading all about what your power is, what is blocking your power, and how you can step into your power. So for now, I'm going to put the tarot off to the side. We're going to get into that in a little bit. And we're going to start off by laying down all these oracle cards. So first, let's take a look at what your power is. We have realization, number 37. The frequency of realization supports the internal process of becoming aware of our heart-centered truth, as well as the external process of becoming our highest expression in this world. We have facade with the solar plexus chakra. We have the unicorn. This is related to the third eye chakra. We have blessings. And we have all that glitters, number 16. Wow, there's so much yellow energy. Okay, and in terms of your blockage, we have number 4, the heart chakra. The frequency of the heart chakra, the green flower of life, supports our capacity to love deeply and unconditionally. Its healing properties harmonize the mind and the body. We have trickery, again with the heart chakra. We have the shark with the water element. We have wisdom. And finally, we have no place like home, number 50. Okay. So pile 3, your power is you see straight through people. Like, this came up a little bit in pile 1, but in pile 1, I said it was just kind of like, just like a passing statement, but like this is what your power is. Like, you see through people's BS, okay? You see through the facade, you see through their masks. You know that not all that glitters is gold, and you see the truth, okay? Like, you realize and understand who people are. It's like you have X-ray vision, okay? Like, you literally just see straight through people. So I mentioned we have a lot of yellows here, so this is related to the solar plexus chakra. So I think you have a really strong sense of self. I think you're very empowered and you're really confident in yourself. It's like you have this unwavering knowing of who you are. And I feel like maybe in the past you might have had people who like tried to manipulate you, who gaslighted you, who, you know, like tried to bring you down or tell you like, you know, nasty things to like bring you down on their level. And I feel like you've healed a lot from that. And through those experiences, like, you really learned how to step into your power, and you learned about who you are. And now you're at this point where it's like nobody can tell you. And it's like you know when people are lying to you. You know when there's something else that's going on behind the surface. You also have a really strong third eye yeah, third eye chakra. Like you see things and you know things, and like you literally have this like radar. It's like when someone's talking to you, it's like doop 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 doop, and it's like you know when they're lying. I think it intimidates a lot of people. And it's like, yeah, like you have a very, very strong intuition. And like when you meet people, like you get a sense right away of what kind of person they are, despite, you know, all of these stories that they try to tell you to like, you know, puff themselves up, trying to make a good impression. And you're just kind of like, okay, right. Like, you know if what they're saying is true or not. And you see, it's like you see, when people treat you poorly, it's like you can see their own wounded inner child. And it's like, you know that they're reacting from a place of hurt, from a place of like past traumas or wounds that they haven't healed. And it's not that you use that as an excuse for their behavior, but it's like you just understand why they are the way they are. Or it's like you can look at someone's behavior and be like, oh, okay, like I know they're acting like this because, you know, in childhood they were emotionally neglected, or like this situation happened to them, or like they had this kind of relationship with their parents. It's like you just know, you have this abundance of knowledge. And I just heard I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, so maybe that book is relevant in some way. Oh, but I mean, like even just the title in itself, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, it's like you know why like people are the way that they are, even if it's something that they don't explicitly tell you, you know? Like you're not fazed by all the glitz and the glamour that people show on you know, their first impression or something like that. It's like it takes a lot to impress you in that sense, because like, you know, you don't really care about what kind of car this person drives, or like what title they have, or like, you know, things like that. It's like, okay, well, what kind of person are you? You know, do you treat people nicely? Are you following your dreams? It's like you're very deep. And I think you're really creative as well with all of the orange here in the realization card. The orange and the third eye chakra, I feel like you receive a lot of divine inspiration. I don't know if you'll be able to hear, but it's raining kind of loudly outside, and it's like a really soothing, relaxing vibe. So I hope you can hear it, but if not, then never mind. I just wanted to say that. But I think you're super creative, and yeah, it's like you have this like you're blessed with this abundance of just like creative ideas, creative visions, things that you want to create in your life, you know, whether these are like projects, different goals that you have, artistic pursuits. And it's like you don't go after these things because of how it'll make you look. You go after it because you're inspired by it, and it's something that makes you happy. Like I keep being drawn to this yellow canary here. So in terms of the blockage, I have to say it's really interesting because let me just start. I have a lot to say. So we have the heart chakra twice here, and then we have the shark, and this wisdom card is this like ocean seascape. Like there's all these fish, there's this like mermaid in like the depths of these waters. So there's no doubt that you have real emotional depth, because we were also talking about that over here. But I think your heart chakra is blocked. And this usually happens because of like self-protection, self-preservation. You know, I was talking about those situations in the past where like maybe people have like treated you poorly or like tried to manipulate you because like you have such a big heart and you're really caring. You know, now that I think about it, like you're definitely empathic, which is how it's so easy for you to like read people's energy. And it also explains why you have such a big heart. But we tend to close off our heart as like to protect ourselves, right? But it's like there's something lurking beneath the surface here. Maybe something that hasn't been addressed yet. And this is blocking you from being able to step into this power. Maybe a fear of being deceived again, or being manipulated again, or feeling like you can't be your most authentic self. Because no place like home, this talks about like, you know, feeling at home in yourself, feeling comfortable, you know, where you could just like kick off your shoes and take off your bra after a long day, you know what I mean? So this is kind of making me think that maybe there's certain people that you're hanging around possibly that are making you feel closed off, or like an environment, a situation that you're in that maybe isn't serving you anymore, or that you feel like you need to protect yourself. Because the ocean Jasper, this is related to the heart and the sacral chakra, and it's called ocean Jasper, and we have all of this like water imagery like I just mentioned. And you know, the sacral chakra is also where our emotions reside. It's the home of our emotions. So what I'm kind of getting is that maybe you might be burying some emotions, or burying some past pains or things like that. You know, maybe trying to tell yourself that like, oh, you know, I'm over that situation, or like, yeah, I'm like, I've moved on, I don't care. But maybe deep down, like, you do care. Maybe deep down, it is still hurting you, or it is still bothering you. And rather than addressing it, you're just kind of wanting to avoid it, which is understandable because it can be really hard to address, you know, things that have hurt us. But maybe now this is your sign to at least have the awareness, right? That maybe there's some things that need to be addressed so that you can really step into your power here. Something that I'm getting is that maybe I feel like there's a situation where like you, because you're so good at reading people, like that maybe you thought someone was your friend, or somebody was, you know, like gonna be a good partner to you, and like somebody did you dirty, they did you wrong, they betrayed you, they cheated on you, like something like that. And because of that situation, you've, you know, blocked off your heart, and it's making you question whether or not you're a good judge of character, because you're like, well, you know, like I'm so good at reading people and all of this, like how could I have let them, you know, like slip through the cracks? You know, like maybe I'm not as good at reading people as I thought I was. And so I want to say, like, that's not your fault, you know, like there's just shitty people out there who are manipulative, who are deceptive, who are fake, who act like they're a good person, and they're not, you know, they trick us, and they make us believe that like they're gonna treat us well, or they're gonna be loyal to us, but they're only in it for their own personal gain. And that's not your fault, and it doesn't mean that you're a bad judge of character or anything. And also just know that like not everyone is gonna be like that, and that you can trust your intuition. I keep being drawn to the number 37 here in the realization card, and when you reduce that you get a 10, and 10s are all about completing a cycle. So I feel like this is really an opportunity for you to end this cycle of like being hard on yourself for letting that situation happen. It may be ending this cycle of avoiding some things that need to be dealt with. Because I feel like there's a lot going on beneath the surface that you're not addressing. Yeah, because I feel like the heart chakra, I mean, all of the chakras are important, but I feel like particularly for you, it really does play an integral role. So I'll read this realization card again. It says, the frequency of realization supports the internal process of becoming aware of our heart-centered truth, as well as the external process of becoming our highest expression in this world. And I feel like by blocking off your heart, as a result, it could also be like, you know, affecting your intuition, or your ability to see things clearly, right? Because when we're coming from like a place of protection, you know, we're a bit defensive, we could be a bit wary, we could be, you know, not trusting, and we could be really closed off. And so when we're in that kind of energy, it's difficult to receive downloads and information, and it's difficult to tap into our intuition, because then we'll be feeling, you know, like a bit suspicious or a bit paranoid, or just like not trusting of people, not trusting messages that are coming through. But I just keep hearing that like you have so much to give, and like I'm like, I can like see your heart chakra, like it's just like, it's so big and it's just like glowing so brightly. It's kind of like this no place like home card. Like, can you see how that light is just like shining through the house? Okay, like that's you. With the mermaid here in the wisdom card, I keep hearing follow the call, follow the call. And so it's like, you know, follow the call of your intuition, follow the call of your heart. You can trust yourself, you can trust your heart, you can trust your intuition, okay? And know that, you know, not everyone is going to be a lovely person, not everyone is going to have positive intentions, but trust in your ability to handle situations like that. Because we can't control other people, and we can't, like, it's not realistic to say that like, oh, I'll never encounter a negative person because, you know, like my intuition's really strong and like I'm good at reading people's energy. Like, you can have those qualities, but it still doesn't guarantee that like people like that aren't gonna cross paths with you, right? But trust in your ability to handle the situation and to set boundaries and protect yourself and to protect your energy. Because tough situations will happen, but you're more than equipped to deal with them. So let's take the tarot now. I want to find out how you can step into your energy, or how to step into your power. Okay, so spirit guides, please, for pile number 3, how can pile number 3 step into their power? How can pile number 3 step into their power? How can pile number 3 step into their power? Okay. So we have the 8 of Wands. How can pile number 3 step into their power? Okay. So we have the Hanged Man. We have the Hierophant. And then we have the 5 of Wands, and we have the Fool. Okay. And on the back of the deck, we have Death. Okay. So what's coming through is that you're really at a turning point. And I say this for a few reasons. So before I was talking about the number 10 and how that talks about cycles ending. We also have the Death card on the back of the deck, which talks about endings, beginnings, rebirth, transitions. We have the Fool, which talks about new beginnings. And then we have 3 number 5s. So we have the Hierophant, the 5 of Wands, and then No Place Like Home is the number 50, which reduces to just a 5. And the number 5 is all about change. It's very dynamic. And, you know, 5 is halfway to 10. So it's like kind of like at that tipping point where things can go either way. And so you're really being encouraged to move forward. You don't have to remain stuck in this like blockage energy that we have here, because you're very wise. Like, we have the Hierophant and we have wisdom. Like, you're very intelligent. You're very much tuned into source and your guides. And it's like you're being encouraged to just to remember that you know when it's time for you to walk away from situations that aren't serving you anymore. That you don't have to participate in the conflict or in any drama. Or sometimes the 5 of Wands can talk about an internal conflict. And so if you're feeling conflicted about something, maybe a situation that's happened, anything, having mixed feelings about something, it's like you already know the answer. You just need to tune into it. Some zodiac signs, in case it's relevant. We have Scorpio with the Death card. We have Aquarius with the Fool. We have Taurus with the Hierophant. And we have Pisces with the Hanged Man. Because the Hanged Man also talks about, like, you know, finding stillness and gaining a new perspective on things. You know, looking at things from another angle. And in the original imagery, there's kind of like a golden halo around his head. And it's making me think that also you have a really strong crown chakra. So it's like, yeah, and especially with the Hierophant here, like, you very much have the ability to easily tap into and channel from source or from your guides, like very, very easily. Also, something else that I'm getting, like, if you're in some kind of situation where it's like you feel like you're walking on eggshells, or you have to like tiptoe around something, or if you're just in like any kind of situation where, yeah, like there's disharmony, that by committing to yourself and realizing your worth, that walking away from the situation will empower you and will allow you to step back into your power, right? Because the 8 of Wands is very quick moving energy. It's like, it's kind of this like effortless energy of just like moving forward. And that's not to say that it won't be hard to move forward, because sometimes it can be really hard to let go of situations, even if it's, you know, involving a lot of conflict and things like that. Like, that can still be hard to let go of. But there's some kind of, like, you're really being encouraged to take a leap of faith here and to really trust. You know, I kind of want to pull a clarifier for the Fool. I want to see, I'll leave the Death card here. Spirit guides, can you clarify the Fool, please? How can pile number 3 step into their power? How can pile number 3 step into their power, please? Can you clarify the Fool specifically? Ah. Oh, look at that. We have the Sun. And I just saw 3333 on the clock, which I also saw that in pile number 2. So if you're drawn to pile 2, maybe there's some messages in there for you. Yeah, and we have the 6 of Swords on the back. Exactly. Like, this is another card that talks about change and transition. You know, moving away from conflict into calmer waters. So if you were worried, if you were wanting to leave a situation or walk away from a situation or a person or, you know, whatever the case is, you're gonna be just fine. Like we have the Sun card here clarifying the Fool. And the Sun is arguably the most positive card in tarot. Okay. It talks about having clarity, being really happy. It talks about protection as well. And it also talks about the inner child, which, did I mention that earlier? So I had mentioned you being able to see people's wounded inner child. But I think that also walking away from this situation will bring back this sense of of freedom, of feeling more carefree, just like being more in touch with your inner child, feeling more creative again, right? Having fun. Yeah, look at that. And then under the 6 of Swords, there's the Wheel of Fortune, another 10, and another card that talks about change. So I think what's really gonna help you to step into your power is to make some kind of change. And it's like, you'll know what that change is. It's gonna be different for everyone. It doesn't necessarily have to be like quitting a job or leaving a relationship. Like, this could even just be a mindset or a habit or a lifestyle. You'll know what it is. And if you feel confused about what it is, to really take the time to tune in to yourself and channel that inner wisdom that you have. You know, ask your guides for clarity. Ask your guides to give you a sign as to what it is that you need to walk away from if you're feeling unsure. And again, wow. So the number 19 in the Sun card, that reduces to a 10. So many synchronicities here. Also, you could be a Leo with the Sun card. You don't have to be, but I thought I'd point that out as well. There's a lot of fixed energy here. We have Scorpio, Leo, and Taurus. So you could, oh yeah, okay. So you could really struggle with change, which I feel you. I'm a Scorpio Sun. I'm very fixed. And like, on one hand, I do like change, but it can be hard for me to transition and to really let go and surrender to that. So I understand the struggle. But know that this change is it's really positive. Whatever this new beginning is, whatever you're transitioning into, will be really positive. So that's everything that I'm seeing for you, pile 3. Let me know in the comments how this resonated for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed watching this video, and also be sure to hit the post notification bell so that you never miss out on when I upload a video. Thank you so much for letting me read for you today. I love you so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!